Welcome to a new video. We're back on a bank and you join me in the Cotswolds, and I'm again hunting one of the Horcott scaly bangers. There's some absolute mega fish in here. I actually found out recently that there's a couple of fish that are pushing the 40-pound barrier, and it's done a 40 that I didn't even realise, would you believe? So there's some proper nice ones in here, some big fish to go at. But it's bank holiday weekend for Easter. It is really busy, and I'm going to have a little scout around, see if I can find a nice quiet corner amongst the crowds and hopefully sneak a couple of rods in and maybe have a fish. But I'm going to have a little nose around, see what I can find, and I catch up with you once I'm sorted. But fingers crossed we're going to have one. The weather's looking all right for it, so yeah, let's crack on and see what we can do. Right, that's a lovely area. All the way through there, that's clear. Perfect. Right, the rods are out then. I've got a bit of food on. It's time for dinner soon, but I just thought I'd give you a bit of an update as to what I've done. So I've tried to get things done pretty quick. We've actually had a little bit of a downpour as well, so I managed to get the bivvy and everything up pretty sharpish. But anyway, the rods are fishing, and the plan of attack for this session is I've actually brought along the little rods with me. So the rods I use on my local venues, the little 9-footers and the little bait runners. And the reason for that is because I wanted to try and target the sort of quieter spots. It's basically the bank holiday weekend. I knew the lake was booked up and it was really busy. There were actually only 3 swims free last night. I've come down, I'm doing a Sunday night. A few people have pulled off. A few people have actually moved over onto the Tench Lake just to give themselves a bit of room. And the plan of attack is to basically drop into the corner swims and hopefully try and nick one out of there, and that's pretty much what I've done. I've had a little bit of a nose around, and basically the right hand side of the car park, there's a lovely little area, nice overhanging trees on the right hand side, and I've had a little bit of a lead around, found a nice spot, put a little bit of bait on it, a couple of rods out there, and hopefully it's going to pay off. So it turns out that lovely 35-pound common was caught this morning out of the margin swim over on the opposite bank to me now. And I do think it's a good idea, and it might pay off. So that's what I've done, basically trying to look at targeting the sort of ignored swims, the areas that people don't want to fish, where they, you know, you're probably not going to get fish shoaling up in these areas, but you are going to get fish drifting off, moving away from the main body of the water into these quieter spots, looking for a bit of peace and quiet, and hopefully they're going to be out for a bit of food as well. So we're fishing, the rods are out, let's hope it pays off. We're due some really bad weather through the night, so I don't know how we're going to get on filming, but we'll do the best we can, and yeah, hopefully we'll have one. But anyway, dinner's on. I'm going to tuck into that in a second and crack open a tin of cider, and hopefully we can have a fish. So let's get on with it and see how we get on. Right, morning then, coffee update. I've had loads of these this morning. I've literally been brolly bound for this whole session near enough. It started raining at about midnight last night and it's pretty much not stopped since. It is grim out there. And to top that off, I've got now a load of floating weed to contend with. It's actually wiped out my rods once already today. Well, it wiped out 2 of them. I managed to get one of the rods back out there, but the other one is still leant against the bivvy waiting to go out and has been for quite a few hours now. It is really tricky. It's really not gone the plan this session. I've basically got one weed bed about halfway to the spot and another weed bed over the top of the spot, so I just cannot get the rod back out. So I'm kind of just sat on my hands with the 2 rods I've got out there. I think they're fishing okay. They probably could do a being recast, but I can't do anything at the moment. It's very restricting. So in terms of content, it's probably lacking. I can't get out and film anything. I'm confined to the bivvy. I've just been trying to make the most of my time. I've been sort of tying up a few rigs and doing a few bits in the bivvy. So yeah, it's really tricky. But at the end of the day, I can't control the weather. It is what it is. We've got to make the most of our situation, haven't we? So hopefully session turns itself around, maybe a fish will drift in. I've still got more than enough chance of getting a bite out of there. It does look really good for it. It's just a case of if anything's going to drift in, and I think there's a chance something could drift in and we could have one, but I guess time will tell, won't it? So anyway, I'm going to finish off my drink. Hopefully this weather's going to change and stop, and maybe I better get those rods back out, but yeah, we'll keep doing what we're doing and hopefully we have a fish. So this is the swim then. As you can see, there's a nice lump of weed right in the centre of shot. That is what's giving me the problems. So this weed here is what's giving me the problems. The spot is just along here off this tree line. There's a lovely little clear area. Now this bit of weed over the back of the spot was actually sat over the spot and is now sort of drifted away. But this clump here is still causing me issues with line lay. So I'm thinking I might be able to jack the rods up high and get the lines over the top of it if I've got a long enough bank stick. It might mean that I've got to just use a front bank stick and not have any back rod rests and try and get the tips up high. But it is potentially an option that might work. So I'm going to give that a go in a second and hopefully I can get the rods all back on the money. But I think I'm just going to use 2 rods, keep the line lay down to a minimum, not have 3 out there because it's quite a small little area anyway. And hopefully that allows me to fish a little bit more effectively. At the moment, I'm really struggling to fish 2 rods on the spot.
Enjoy?
Nah, mate. No. Just getting wet.
You're the guy who did the video up here, aren't you?
I am.
I watched that the other evening.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Oh, cool, mate. Right, 2 rods recast out on that area, fishing a lot better, so happy days. I've not had to reposition the rods either, I've just left it as it is. That weed has actually now shifted. I think it might have just been caught on the line, so now that I've brought the rods in, left it for a bit and then recast them, it seems that that might have done the job. The rain has stopped. Happy days. I've brought the rods in, left them for a bit, let the weed drift out of the way, and finally I've managed to get the rods back out on the spot. So we are fishing again now. So I'm feeling a lot more confident, a lot better about how everything's going. We're definitely going to get some rain again in a minute. There is some clouds over there. It doesn't look too bad, but it's definitely some rain on its way again. But yes, it's looking a little bit better at the moment now the rain stopped. And at the end of the day, we can't control the elements, can we? We can't control the weather, can't control the fish. And we just got to do the best we can. A guy actually just come round to use the toilet. I had a little bit of a chat with him. It turns out he had a nice 20-pounder from fishing close range this morning, further down on this bank over here, so quite a long way from where I am. But it does look like there's the odd fish coming out, and they seem to be getting caught closer range. So I think I'm doing the right thing. It's just a case of some fish maybe drifting into this area. The guy that was on the other bank a couple of swims round from this bend has actually gone now. So if any fish are drifting through, there's no one in the way now. So it looks really, really nice for it. So hopefully it turns out to be productive and we can have one. But I'm going to put on a bit of food. I'm hungry, and yeah, hopefully one of these rods goes rattling off. Well, the weed is back. This wind's just picked up and just pushed the whole raft over the top of the spot. I've got no chance of recasting now. I think the right hand rod is probably being pulled off the zone. Looking at the angle of the line, absolute nightmare. I think I've recast the rods, got them back out there, and then the weed has pretty much just wiped them out again. I've managed to dip the tips down, but I don't think it's making enough of a difference. Absolute disaster. Right, so the weed actually took out my right hand rod. That was the left hand rod. I've moved it onto the right hand rest, and I've tied up a long link with the little Ronnie section and a light lead, and I'm basically going to flick this out to the left hand side of this weed into that open water, because it's the only other area I can present at the moment. And basically this is going to drop down and hopefully settle on top of the weed nicely. So it's still going to give me some presentation. Yeah, that's gone down all right. And basically we just fish what is essentially a single out there, because that's kind of the only option I've got now. I mean, if I had longer, I would definitely move and fish a different area, but it is what it is. Right, I'm pretty much packed down now. I'm just waiting for the brolly to dry out, although there's a few clouds looking a bit like it might rain again. Anyway, the main bulk of the weed is now pushed into the side, so I'm going to redo that left hand rod, which I moved when the bulk of that weed comes through, and I'm going to quickly get it out onto that spot again. Now I've actually put my wrapping sticks away, so this is going to be an estimated cast, but I do remember where it is, although this wind is a nightmare. Nope, not there. There's a raft coming in, so I need to be pretty quick and get it out there before that raft comes back in. That's it. Luckily, because of the wind, the line sinks really fast. But there we go, that's out there on that spot again now. So we've got two rods back on the spot. If I'm honest, it hasn't produced a bite, but I feel I'm more likely to get a bite on that spot than I am just on one lob to no man's land. So hopefully that produces something. But yeah, two rods back out. I've got about an hour 15, something like that, until I'm probably going to reel them in. So we've got a bit of time still, so hopefully we can get a last minute fish. But the wind is absolutely picking up. It's meant to be really stormy the next couple of days. Unfortunately, I've got to go to work, but you never know, we might have one before we go. Once I've had this, I'll possibly look at bringing the rods in. I've got about 45 minutes or so to go, I reckon. The weed today has been an absolute nightmare. I think I've been fishing properly about 50% of the time I've been here. It's been really, really tricky. What I found, when a raft of weed comes through to swim, I have to bring the rods in, let the weed come through, otherwise the lines hold the weed there, and then the weed pull the lines out of the way. So I've had to basically remove the lines from the water, let the weed pass through, and then put them back onto the spot, which, to be honest, can take up to an hour sometimes for the weed to then drift out of the way and be able to cast back out. So if I was staying here for any longer, I would definitely move swims, just to give myself a better advantage of keeping the rods in the water, to be honest. It's really nice now the wind's coming in here, and it does actually look like fish could move into this corner for sure today. But yeah, it's just really difficult with the weather. It is Monday now, so a lot of people have already cleared off the lake and gone home, probably to spend the rest of the Monday bank holiday with family. But I've got to go to work, so it's handy though, because obviously I've got all that bank now free of anglers, so if the fish do want to drift in here, I've got a couple of rods positioned quite nicely. So you never know, 45 minutes it could happen. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to polish off my coffee, and hopefully I will be showing you a big fat carp soon. Right then, wow, what a disaster this session's turned out to be then. It really hasn't gone to plan, but at the end of the day, I've come out on a busy bank holiday Easter weekend. It was always going to be tricky. I knew I was going to be slotting into maybe an unfavoured area. I thought there was a chance that fish could drift in here, but they've just not come into the area. I did see one show, I don't think I mentioned that actually, but I did see a show earlier this morning, so I felt quite confident, but the rigs kept getting dragged off the spot, so I was getting so many problems with weed. I was pretty much having to reel in and recast every hour or two just to be able to present on that spot. The weed was just playing me an absolute nightmare, so it has been a disaster of a session, but it's been nice to be on the bank. I've enjoyed being out still, and hopefully it's just another blank closer to actually catching one of these fish. So hopefully you've liked the video. If you have, then please give it a thumbs up and support the channel. To everyone that has recently subscribed and all our subscribers that have been following us for a while, thank you very much for your support. The channel's doing really, really well at the moment. I think by the point of this video going out, we should be well over the 7,000 mark in terms of subscribers. So we appreciate everyone that follows us and enjoys the content, and we hope, and I hope for sure, that my blanking spree is going to end soon and we can show you some mega fish. So anyway, I need to get on the road and go to work. So until next time, get on the bank, be lucky, and I will see you guys in the next video.